Hey guys, it's Legendary Narwhal back again. Today we're talking about the certification system, mostly in Planetside 1, but at the end of this we're going to talk about certifications in Planetside 2 as well, from the limited knowledge that I'm aware of. These right here are the certification terminals, and they are located right here inside the Heart Orbital building within any of the 3 points on Sanctuary. So over here, they'd be in these rooms and these rooms. Over here, they're in these rooms and these rooms over here. And then there's one down south. It's all the same. So, right here, this is your battle rank. Currently I'm battle rank 27. You start at 0 or 1. You continue to go on up. As you get kills, you get battle experience points. That's this BEP down here. As you get that, it fills up this long bar on the bottom. If it fills up all the way, you get one of these little bubbles. Fills up again, you get another one. And then when you fill all the bubbles, then you get your next battle rank. Command rank works the same way. But right here, this battle rank is what gives you certification points. You get 1 certification point per level. I believe this goes up past 30 now. It used to stop at 25, then they increased it, and then I think they increased it again. I'm not 100% sure. But I have quite a few certification points. These on the right are the certifications that I currently have. These are my weapon certifications, armor, vehicles, and equipment. Now, a couple things here. Standard Assault, everyone has this. You cannot de-cert this, and you cannot certify this. You have this by default. The same with the Standard Exosuit and the Agile Exosuit. You have all of that. You have those 3, Standard, Agile, and then the other Standard. You have all those by default. None of the rest of this stuff you have by default. I've had to put points into it. So, I'm going to click on the terminal here. And this is what the screen looks like. As you can see, I have no certification points available at this current time. And it lists all the certifications that I can possibly get over here on the left. And on the right, in the upper thing here, it gives you a description of it. And then if it requires any prerequisites. And down here in Learned, you can see what I have and how many points it was. So as far as weapons go, I've taken anti-vehicular, medium assault, and sniping. As you can see, standard assault is default. As far as armor goes, I've taken agile and standard or default, and then there's infiltration suit, which is cloaking, and then reinforced exosuit, which is the armor with 2 rifle slots and 2 pistol slots, as opposed to agile, which has 2 pistols and 1 rifle slot. Vehicles, mostly right now I just have air vehicles. I have Air Cavalry Scout, which is a prerequisite for Assault and Interceptor. And then down here in equipment, I have Engineering and Medical, and then I have Combat Engineering at the moment, which Engineering is a prerequisite for this. So, first I'm going to talk about the ones that I already have. Okay? Anti-vehicular, 3 points, and as you can see right here, it gives you access to your 1 Empire specific anti-vehicular weapon along with the Decimator. So, you're going to want to take this. Most people take this because it's really good against max suits, and if you have a group of infantry all with AV, you can ward off vehicles, both ground and air, with relative ease. Unless it's a really heavy tank, you'll probably be able to scare most stuff off. Medium assault, honestly, this is a must. You kind of need to put your first 2 points into medium assault. It unlocks all of these right here. So by getting medium assault, you unlock the main close quarters weapon, which is the common pool sweeper shotgun, and then you'll also get your faction specific assault rifle. If you don't unlock it, you're going to be stuck with these 2 pistols here, the common pool amp, and then your faction specific, and then you're also going to have the suppressor. Suppressor's not really that good of a weapon. It fires pretty quickly. It says it's a solid close quarters weapon. It's a dirty lie. I would never use this that much. There were times where I have used this, and it was mostly just for giggles, because it is not a strong weapon at all. So you really need to get medium assault. You really do. Sniping, this is 3 points for one weapon. So unless you're going to be a sniper pretty full time, it's really not worth getting. Okay? It enables you to get the Bolt Driver, which is right here. The Bolt Driver can 2-shot Agile and Rexo armor suits. It can 1-shot a Standard. And the reason why you may or may not want to get this is because if you have your 2-year term of service award, if you've played the game for more than 2 years, if your character has existed for that long, then you get this thing right here, the HSR, Heavy Scout Rifle. You get it for free. So, it's not as powerful, but it has a 10-shot clip as opposed to 1-shot, and it fires faster. Is it the best sniping weapon? No, it's definitely not. But it's good enough to make do rather than spending 3 points on a single weapon if you're not going to be doing it full time. I snipe a lot, so I went ahead and got the real Bolt Driver. Moving on down to armor, we've got Infiltration suit and the Rexo suit. Okay, so right here, as you can see, the Infiltration is a prerequisite for the following certifications. Phantasm. The Phantasm is an air vehicle. We'll get to that. So, armor, Reinforced Exosuit, as you can see, 2 rifle slots, 2 pistol slots, big inventory. Infiltration suit, you really can't hardly carry anything. You've got a very small inventory and only 1 pistol slot, no rifles at all. And then, as you see, it gives you a description here. So, you can cloak yourself, provides no armor, as you can see, 0 out of 0 armor. So, this is a good suit. As you can see here, you can see me, and now you can't. And this is a true cloak. There is no fuel or anything. It will last forever. I could leave this here, go AFK, come back tomorrow, I would still be cloaked. There is no duration. As long as I don't move, I'm completely and totally invisible. If I start running, as you can see there, you can see me. Okay? Even if I crouch and begin to crouch walk, you can still see me a little bit. You can see me easier up against this background, I think. But yeah, you can see me a bit there. So, I'm a huge fan of the Infiltration suit. A lot of people don't like it, but I'm a big fan of it. Vehicles, I only have air vehicles right now. I don't really have any ground vehicles. I have Scout, which as you see, it tells me it is a prerequisite for Interceptor and Assault, and I have an Interceptor and I have Assault. So in the description up here, the Scout will give you access to the Mosquito, which is a aircraft that has hardly any armor, and it has a little light machine gun on it. It's decent air-to-air, and it's okay for air-to-ground if it's up against infantry, but it really can't handle any vehicles. It can't handle anything that's really heavy. It has very powerful radar, as you can see, if you're going at half speed or slower. It has a very powerful radar. It is primarily a scouting aircraft. And a disposable car to just get in, fly to a tower, and bail out on top of it, just to get you where you need to go. Air Cavalry Interceptor right here, this enables you to get the Wasp, which is a heavier air-to-air version of the Mosquito. This aircraft was not in the initial release of the game. This was added in later on. But it has a very powerful nose-mounted chain gun, which is much better than the Mosquito's gun. And then it also has a 2-clip of air-to-air missiles. Its afterburner is also longer. It is extremely flimsy, however, just like the Mosquito. It's extremely flimsy. So, Assault gives you access to the Reaver, which is the air-to-ground version of an aircraft. You've got some decently powerful little Gauss cannons for kind of air-to-air job, but for anything that you're going to hit on the ground, it has access to rocket pods, and the rocket pods are really what makes the Reaver good. If you swoop down on any infantry unit, as long as it's not in a max armor suit, even if it's someone in a Rexo suit, if you land an entire clip of rockets, you will kill it in a single pass if you land an entire clip. So it's pretty good. Down here, as far as equipment goes, I have engineering and medical. As you see, they're prerequisites for higher orders of certain things. So Medical just lets me have access to a thing to heal myself. Engineering lets me have access to a thing that can repair my armor. And then combat engineering, which is a higher form of engineering, enables me to use the ACE, which can deploy mines, motion alarm sensors, Spitfire deployable turrets, and the Boomer high explosive device. Okay? I really only have combat engineering because of the Boomer. That's really the only reason I have it. Think of the Boomer as C4. You throw it down on the ground, you back up, you detonate. Simple as that. Alright, now we're going to briefly talk about the ones that I don't have. Elite Assault, which, it's 1 point for some pretty cool weapons, the Scorpion and the Dragon. If you watched the NC and Common Pool Weapons video, then you've already seen these. Now, you see here I do not have Elite Assault. I don't have it. I didn't put any points in. But, oops. I can, if I put on the correct armor. Oh, well, by the way, excuse me, I did not bring this up in the weapons video. I don't think I mentioned it about the max armor suits either. When you pull in a max armor suit, a cooldown timer will begin. I believe it's about either 2.5 or 5 minutes. I think it's a 5-minute timer, but it's so that you can't just pull a max suit, run out and waste it, and then come back and waste it again. The Scorpion does not have this, okay? I can pull as many Scorpions as I want. Okay, as you can see, no timer begins. However, the Dragon Flamethrower does have a timer of roughly 3 minutes. Okay, so you can't have a whole bunch of people spawn and then suicide out of a door spraying a flamethrower. You can't have them do that over and over again. I have access to these. I can pull them, but I do not have the cert. That's because Elite Assault is tied into a Term of Service award. I don't remember what year it is. I think it's 3 or 4. But if your character has been in the game for 3 to 4 years, whichever one it is, then you get all the weapons for this for free. Okay, this also was not in with the original creation of the game. This came in later. The HSR came in later as well. Okay. Now, Heavy Assault gives you access to your faction-specific heavy gun, which I've went over everything except the Vonu Sovereignty, but you will see that in the video. I'm not going to go into massive detail about all the weapons here. I'm going to talk about the vehicles a little bit more when I get there, because I know I haven't done a video on Common Pool vehicles yet, really specific vehicles either, except for the TR. But as far as these weapons go, I already talked about them. If you're unaware of what they do, then I will just refer you to my other videos for that. Special Assault, which I don't actually have at the moment, which is my favorite. It has no specific things, which is kind of weird. There are no specific Special Assault weapons. I'm a little bit disappointed in that personally. But right here, excuse me. Good lord. But the Thumper, that's my favorite weapon. That's the grenade launcher. Okay. There is another way to launch grenades. Another way to launch grenades. You pull out the Punisher, you go to secondary firing mode, you hit X to change the ammo type, and now I can do a single shot grenade fire. So, the Punisher is the poor man's grenade launcher. If all you have is medium assault, you do not have the 3 points to spend in special, it is the poor man's grenade launcher. Okay. So, also gives you access to rocket rifle and the radiator. Armor suits, got the anti-air, got the anti-vehicle, the anti-infantry, and the anti-air. Went over all those. You can see they're 3, 3, and 2. I think every faction it is 3 for anti-vehicle, 3 for anti-infantry, and then 2 for the anti-air. Anti-air I believe is the cheapest for all. However, you can get Unimax, which will give you all of these, so it'll save you 2 points, and you will have access to all of them. If you're going to be someone that kind of specializes in the max heavy armor suits, then Unimax is a really good option. Alright, vehicles, as you can see, lots and lots of vehicle certifications. Lots of them. Okay. First up, we got air support. Okay. This will enable you to get the Liberator, which is a bomber, the Galaxy, which is a troop transport, and the Lodestar, which is a vehicle transport. It will also enable you to get the Vulture if you have gotten the particular achievement with the Liberator. There's an achievement with the Liberator right here that says available to pilots who have obtained the Bomber Ace 2 award for kills made by your bomber and gunner while piloting the Liberator. So if you are a pilot for the Liberator and you have really good bombers and tail gunners, try and keep a hold of them. Add them to your friends list, keep a hold of them, have them keep doing that same thing for you. Eventually you will get Bomber Ace 2, and when you get that, you'll have access to the Vulture, which is a much more powerful air-to-ground version of the Liberator. It's very powerful. Armored Assault 1, this is a prereq for Armored Assault 2, as you can imagine. It only gives you one vehicle. It gives you the Lightning, which, if you watch the Planetside 2 footage for E3 cast by Mr. Total Biscuit, you heard him refer to it as the paper tank. And it is. I don't really hear anyone refer to it as that anymore. However, in the olden days, yes, people did a little bit. And it still is a basically paper tank. It's what its armor is made out of, pretty much cardboard. It doesn't have a lot of armor. It has a fairly powerful cannon and chain gun on it, so it's good for light vehicles, and if you have a lot of them, like 3, 4, or 5 Lightnings, then you can use swarm-style tactics on heavier armor. But really, people only get it because you need it to get Armored Assault 2, which gives you access to the faction-specific assault tank. For the new conglomerate, it's the Vanguard. As long as you have really the only expansion this game has, which is the Cavern system, if you have the Core Combat expansion, you are able to get the Flail, which is a heavy artillery, and you are able to get the Battle Frame Robotics. Now, this is a prerequisite for Battle Frame Robotics. However, once we get to it after these two, there's more to it than just this. There is more to it. Assault Buggy, this gives you access to a bunch of stuff. You get the Enforcer, which is your faction specific. For the NC, it's the Enforcer. You get the Skyguard, which is a common pool ground-to-air buggy. And you also get the Harasser, which it says formidable machine gun. No, it's not. Unless you're in infantry just walking around, no, it's not formidable at all. You don't really ever use the Harasser to attack anything. Its main purpose is to scout. It's the ground scouting version of the Mosquito. Mosquito has enhanced radar if you go slow, and as you can see here, Harasser is concealed even from an Interlink Facility's radar, which Interlink Facility gives you access to very powerful radar, and it conceals itself even from that. So you can scout very effectively if they don't actually spot you using this vehicle. ATV, all of these are common pool. You get several of them. The first one is the Wraith. It has no weapons at all, but if you are in infiltration suit and you are cloaked, then you can also cloak the Wraith. So that's very cool. It's a very quick way to get around unseen if you are an infiltrator. You can also get one that is the Basilisk, has dual chain guns on the front, so any infantry, and then you can also get the Fury, which has a single-barreled rocket launcher on its front. If you use swarm tactics with Furies, several of them, you can bring down heavier tanks very quickly. The Fury does not have a lot of armor. It is only an ATV. However, its weapon is very, very powerful against armor. It really is. And all of this ATV, this is all a prerequisite for the Switchblade, which is down at the bottom, which is a cavern. It's like a cavern ATV. It's kind of weird. Okay. Now, this here, it says, it only requires Armored Assault 2, which you have not yet purchased, and then it'll give you access to either the Aphelion, which is the VS BFR, the Colossus, and the Peregrine, and their corresponding anti-vehicular weapon loadouts. So basically, in order to get this, okay, you need to spend 2 points here and 1 point here, so that's 3. Then you need to get this. I don't know who that is. Then you get this, which is Battle Frame Robotics. So that's 7 points. 7 points just to get in this, and then you need to spend a further 2 more to make it 9 if you want to fully kit it out with all the weapon variations, anti-aircraft and anti-infantry. So that's 9 points just for that. On top of this, you see here it says BFR imprint status imprinted. Before you are allowed to cert the BFR, even if you have Armored Assault 2, before you're allowed to do it, you have to go through an imprint process in the caves. I believe it is kill 75 people in the caves, so you need 75 cavern kills. Then you need to go to the center of any of the caves to the core, and you have to throw yourself into the core. And it basically kind of like levitates you and stuff, and pretty lights go on, and then it kicks you out. And I think it kicks you out very heavily damaged too, so... And you are vulnerable when you're just hanging in the air like that. So, I mean, if you're trying to imprint yourself in a heavy combat zone, someone's just going to walk up and shoot you as you're just being levitated there. And when you get kicked out, I believe you're wounded, so, like, your armor's all really low and stuff, so I believe that you'll be easy pickings after that as well. But 75 cavern kills, and throw yourself into the core, then you're imprinted, then you can get Armored Assault 2, then you can get the BFR, so it isn't as easy as it makes it sound here. And then this, as I said, gives you access to the full customized weapons. Flail, you do have to spend a single point. You do not just get it with this. However, this qualifies you not to purchase the Flail vehicle, but to purchase the Flail certification. So then you can get this. Galaxy Gunship, you have to have air support, which was the regular Galaxy troop transport. This turns it from a troop transport into a gunship. The passenger seats are cut down, but it has very, very powerful guns on it. Galaxy gunships are incredibly hard to take down. They really are. They have a lot of firepower, they have a lot of armor. Usually people just go inside and hide while anti-air swarm them and try to kill them. They don't go down easy, they really don't. Ground support, this gives you access to the AMS, Advanced Mobile Station, and then if you have the Core Combat expansion, it also gives you the router. The router is something that you can deploy it and then take a teleportation pad out of it, deploy that pad within a certain range of the router, and then it'll create an instantaneous link between the two. So it's good to get from the spawns of your base to, say, the vehicle term very quickly so that you don't have to run up all those stairs, and it's good to, say, deploy outside of a tower, maybe drop an infiltrator on the top and deploy the pad, things like that. So it's very kind of spec opsy kind of thing. AMS, that's basically your mobile spawn point and equipment terminal. So they're incredibly important, but not many people like driving them because it's kind of boring. Ground transport, just what you may think it is. It is all the ground troop transports. So you have a lot of things. You have Vindicator, which is a heavy armored battle bus, and then you have amphibious ones, which is the Deliverer, common pool, everyone gets that, and the Thunderer, which is basically your faction specific version of this Deliverer here. It's an amphibious car that can seat 5 people including the driver. Vindicator's much heavily armored. That's the new conglomerate version of the giant battle bus. For Terran Republic, I believe it is the Juggernaut. So I did kind of already have a video with that in there. Alright, so Harasser, single point. If you want to, you can only get this, okay? You can get the Harasser through Assault Buggy, you can, if you want to spend 3 points. But if all you need is a way to get around, 1 point will do it for a single person. If you need a way to get around, 1 point will do it for you. If it's you and a friend, instead of spending 3, you can spend 1 to just get the Harasser. That's enough for you and a friend. Harasser can carry a single passenger. Light Scout, this basically combines Assault Buggy with the one that I have, which is Air Cavalry Scout. So that's 3, and that's 3, that's 6. You can shave off a single point. You get the Harasser Buggy, you get the Mosquito Scout Aircraft, you get the Skyguard Ground-to-Air Aircraft, and then you get your faction-specific Assault Buggy as well. Okay, you get all of that. Phantasm here, and yes, that was my Steam. If you heard that, it's not yours, don't check it. I will look at it momentarily. But Phantasm here, so you need the cloaking suit to get this, and this is basically a troop transport aircraft, however it can stealth. So that's very cool. Again, very kind of spec opsy. Switchblade, It is a cavern ATV. It hovers. You can go over water with it. It can strafe. And if you're stationary, you can deploy it to be an anti-infantry field turret, which is pretty cool. So it is pretty nice as far as anti-infantry goes. All of these things here, I'm going to go over very briefly. These can all get pretty involved with the things that they can do. So I'm going to try and start as far at the bottom as I possibly can. So there's engineering and there's medical, okay? Those are the first two basic ones. If you have medical, then you can get advanced medical, which if you have this, then you can revive people that die. You can walk up to them and you can revive them, so that's pretty handy. As of now, that is the only thing you can do with medical. It's just those two things. It is the equipment support kind of thing that has the least amount of stuff attached. Engineering has a lot. So you get engineering first, which you can repair armor, so that's 3. Then you get combat engineering, which gives you the ace. That's 2. That's a prereq for advanced engineering, fortification engineering, and assault engineering. So fortification engineering is right here, which is 3. That gives you the advanced version of the ACE, which is the FDU, the Field Deployable Unit, which I went over already in the support video, so I already kind of showed off all what that does. It also enables you to get these things with the ACE that are Spitfire turrets. So instead of deploying a regular Spitfire, then you can drop cloaking ones that are shadow turrets, and you can drop ones that actually have flak barrels on them for ground to air, which are called Cerberus turrets. You can also use the glue gun, the nano dispenser, which usually repairs vehicles. You can use this to now upgrade your own wall turrets with a secondary weapon, either anti-vehicle or anti-air. You can charge up the shield generator you can drop with the FDU in order to kind of give it more utility, more power. It creates a physical shield instead of just a cloaking shield, so that's pretty cool. It's kind of like a little turtle shell there. Oh my fucking god. I apologize. Hold on for 1 second. I will continue this momentarily. Okay, I'm back. I apologize for that. I thought it was a particular person on Steam, and that particular person spams me a lot, and I was just going to ignore it. However, it was not. It was actually Chaos Scythe. As you see, he actually just now came online. He was asking if I wanted to play, so I will as soon as I'm done with this. So if he tracks me down, you may see him kind of run on screen and get in the way of shit, but hopefully I can finish before he finds me. Okay, so I had actually thankfully just finished going through fortification engineering, thank God. You also get assault engineering, which gives you more kind of aggressive stuff. Fortification engineering, as you can kind of tell with the fortification bit of it, it gives you cloak shields, blockades, things like that. Assault engineering is much more attack oriented. Okay, it allows you to put down Spitfire turrets inside enemy spheres of influence, which is basically the area near their base. You can't deploy anything right near an enemy base. You're not allowed. If you have this, however, you are. It also gives you disruptor mines, which is like a landmine on the ground, however, it has an EMP effect, so that's kind of cool. And then, instead of making your cloak shield generator have like a force field bubble around it, it will instead enable you to pull ammunition from it like a terminal. So that's pretty useful as well. Advanced engineering, instead of spending 3 and 3, which is 6, you can shave off 1 point and get both for 5. That's basically all that is. The other discipline here is hacking. Okay? If you get 3 points in the end, now a lot of people, I'll say this off the bat, a lot of people don't get hacking. A lot of people don't really bother with it because you have to spend quite a bit of points into it before it's actually really useful. Okay, you spend 3 into it initially, and basically all that it does is let you hack faster. Slightly faster. All it does. You can't do anything new. You need to spend 2 more in advanced hacking. Then, finally, you can do a lot of different things. You can trick a lot of enemy systems to allow you to use them. Okay? You can go up to an enemy vehicle that is empty, and you can jack it. which will turn it to your empire, so that's pretty cool. It'll let you use other people's stuff. And then equipment terminals in an enemy base, you can hack those and pull ammunition out as well. That's the only two things you can do, in addition to even faster hacking. Now, you have these. Data corruption and electronics expert. Expert hacking is just both of those combined, very similar to the first one. Okay? So, data corruption. This is based around viruses. You get another version of the hacking kit called the T-Rec instead of the regular remote electronics kit, and you can go to a terminal inside an enemy base and you can insert a virus into it. And those viruses are actually really useful. One of them causes the power of a base to drain faster. One of them causes all of the door locks to disable so anyone can just walk on in. The best one in my opinion is one that takes away their radar, so they have absolutely no enemy dots on their radar at all, so they can't really see where you are in the base unless they themselves are communicating, which is pretty cool. Also, you can do a lot of other things with this. You can install a lot of other types of equipment. It says here, so you can do things like an enemy Spitfire deployable turret. You can crouch on up to that and then hack it, causing it to shoot at its own faction, which is pretty nice. It's very nifty. A lot of people are kind of shocked when their own turret starts opening up on them. A lot of people don't really want to destroy them because they're like, but that's mine, so they won't really shoot at it right away. The most useless part about it is it's a 4-shot EMP at range. It's okay, I guess. I mean, for kind of quick getaways, but it's not super effective or anything. All right, next one. We already did data corruption. Electronics expert is both of them put together. Sorry, I thought it was expert hacking, but it's not. It is both of these put together. Expert hacking, I like this a lot. I like this better than data corruption personally. So you hack even faster than you used to. If you didn't already realize, everything that you go up in the tier of hacking basically lets you go faster in addition to everything else that you get. You can jack manned vehicles now, which boots them out, which is really cool, especially if it's someone that's like just camping a doorway in a tank and they're not paying attention. You can get up behind them, jack their vehicle, it boots them out, and then you jump in the gunner's seat and immediately begin causing havoc. It's very cool, especially if you can pilot the vehicle. Then you can jack them out, jump in the driver's seat, and just take off. You can take away enemy field turrets that are deployed with the FDU, with the advanced combat engineering there. You can boost pain fields, which pain fields are in your base's generator room and spawning room. It's basically a small deterrent to keep people from just camping the spawns. If an enemy goes into your spawn room thinking, oh, I'm just going to crouch down in front of their respawn tube and just kill them over and over as they spawn, they will be constantly damaged while they stay in that room because of this pain field. So this will enable you to boost that to make it do even more damage. So if your base is really getting pushed and you think that they're about to break into your spawns, then you can quickly boost your area's pain field, and that's going to make it a lot harder for them to get in and stay in. Okay. It'll also be able to give the Aegis Shield Generator, which is that advanced engineering thing with the FDU. It gives it enhanced stealth, it gives it enhanced radar, more enemy detection, so it's good for forward base kind of things, and you need this to be able to purge the viruses from the data corruption. So if the opposing empire has hackers, you need hackers too. You can take those viruses out, and then Electronics Expert is both of those combined. Okay. That took a pretty long time, actually, to kind of get through all of them. Now we kind of get to the part that I don't know nearly as much about. Okay, I'll turn around. So, basically now what we have is Planetside 2 is going to be in beta soon. Planetside 2 has a lot of changes over this game. A lot of changes. Many of them good, yes, but some of them bad and that I don't like so much. Here's one of the main things. One big thing that a lot of people have right now, I can do it right now actually. I pick one of my favorites. As you can see, on 1 I have Engi, which is engineering. On 3 I have med. So I've got Engi and med. I can repair my own armor and my own health. Now, because these are certification based, I can do that. In Planetside 2, It sounds like you spawn based on a class system. Meaning one of the classes is engineer, they have things like this to repair armor, and another class is a combat medic, they have ways to restore health. So to me what it sounds like is that they're basically taking the certifications here, like repairing armor and restoring health, and they're turning those into entirely separate classes. On one hand, that's very good, because now one person can't do everything, so it's going to really promote the whole thing about teams. You're going to want to have medics in your team. You're going to want to have engineers in your team. You're going to want to protect those people, because their supporting benefits are going to be a big help to everyone. However, at the same time, the game is probably going to be a lot more fast-paced. In this game, if I was in a corridor and I was fighting someone, we could be fighting, I kill them, and then I could hide behind the corner and then restore all of my health and armor back to full, so I'd be ready to go again. In this way, if one person was really good, you could essentially be rewarded for being a really good player by being able to hold an area for a really long time before they finally overwhelmed you. In the next game, it looks like you have a shield instead of armor, which will regen slowly over time, okay, and then health, which I think health regens over time slowly as well. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it's at a slower rate, and it involves you being out of combat for a much more extended period of time. So I have a feeling it's going to crank up the pace of combat. You're not really going to be able to support yourself really well, not as well as you can in this game. You're going to need other people to help support you. So, I don't know. That's mildly annoying, but I think it'll be good for the game. It'll definitely be good for the team dynamics of the game anyway. One thing that it's really going to kick out is all of these down here: hacking, expert hacking, electronics expert, data corruption, you know, all these things. Advanced hacking. It's going to kick all of those certifications out and put them in their new certification tree, because walking around with the rec to actually hack things, that's going to be a thing of the past. It looks like you can just walk up to an enemy terminal and just begin to hack it without having a specific device. I like that you don't need to have the device to do it, because really hacking things is something that every soldier in this game really needs to do. So it's good that you don't have to waste a slot to carry around something that you have to do anyway, is basically what I'm getting at. Before I get into all the rest of the kind of differences that I know of, I guess I'll talk about the certification points just as a whole. They're drastically changing it. You no longer will have battle rank, and you're still gonna have battle rank. I take that away. You're still gonna have battle rank, but you're not gonna basically get certification points based on this alone. Okay, it won't be you only get 1 point every battle rank you achieve. It's not gonna be that. It is instead going to be you get certification points for that same kind of thing, killing people, all that. However, you also get one by default over a period of time. I believe in an interview that I think Total Biscuit did with some of the guys at Planetside 2 at Sony, he had mentioned that if you are fighting and stuff, you will basically gain a certification point every 10 minutes, I think was the time frame he gave. So what this means is that there's going to be a lot more certifications in the game. Instead of getting a certification to, say, unlock medium assault, which is like the Gauss rifle and everything, instead of doing that, instead of having a certification to unlock this broad tree, you'll have a whole certification tree for just the Gauss. You'll have a whole certification tree for just the Punisher, for just the Spear, for just the Suppressor. So you'll be able to specialize very heavily into the Gauss. Different sights, different flash suppressions, different muzzle, flare, hiding things, and all this other mess. So you'll really be able to heavily customize exactly the way you want to play, and I'm a big fan of that. The best thing, though, is that since you're going to be accruing them in a way over time, you have no limit on it. You eventually, as they say, you know, if you play for a really, really, really long time, you know, a year or two, you will eventually be able to certify everything in the game. Eventually. Okay, so I don't think there's going to be a recertification system. Right now, I can pick something and choose to forget it. I can forget something once every 6 hours. So I can get rid of something and then get something new. In Planetside 2, you're not going to be able to get rid of anything, but that's because eventually you'll be able to have everything anyway. So being able to forget stuff, there's not really that much of a point. So I do like that. I do like that. There's a couple other kind of little changes about the game in this, but I think I'll do a separate video talking about a comparison just of Planetside 1 versus Planetside 2. I'll do that into a separate video. This was just about the certifications in Planetside 1 and kind of dipping into Planetside 2 a little bit. And mentioning about how, you gain them over time and you'll eventually be able to get everything in the game is kind of what I wanted to cover. You'll never be able to get all of this. Never. You can't. It's absolutely and completely impossible. You can't do it. In Planetside 2, you can. So that's pretty cool. It'll really enable you to play exactly the way that you want. You'll have a lot of options. So, with all of that being said, all of that wrapped up, I'm going to go squad up with Chaos Scythe, and I'm going to shoot some bitches. So if the fight is good, I will record it. If not, then this has been Legendary Narwhal, and I'll see you guys next time.